Hello and welcome to New Wave Coaching Classes. My dear friends, today we are going to discuss some of the remaining questions of exercise 4.3 of chapter quadratic equation. Till now, what we have discussed about what is the quadratic equations, how to find the roots of the equation using the factorization method, using completing the square method, and finally using the quadratic formula. Today, what we are going to do, we are going to do the leftover questions which we have done in the exercise 4.3. Right, whatever the questions are left, we are going to complete it today so that the exercise is complete. And these are one of the important questions of this exercise. So let's start with the question number 7. If you have read the question, in the question it is given that there are two numbers and the difference of the square of two numbers is given as 180. So what I have done, I have supposed that the two numbers be x and y, right? And I have to write the condition that one of the number is greater than the other. So I suppose that x is greater than y, right? Now it's given difference of the squares is equal to 180 degree. It means this thing. I have to square two numbers and then have to find the difference, and that difference is equal to 180 degree. This will be my first equation. Then what is the next condition given to us? See, I have told so many times in my previous lectures also, whenever you are doing statement question, try to break the question in parts so that you can simplify them better, right? So the first break was something like this, the difference of square was given. The next thing which is given to us is that the square of the smaller number is 8 times the larger number. So this is the square of the smaller number and this is 8 times the larger number. So we have the condition y square equals to 8x. Now using the two conditions we get our required quadratic equation, and the required quadratic equation is when I substitute the value of y square equal to 8x in the first, I get x square minus 8x equals to 180 degree, right? And then I shift this 180 on the left side, and when I shift there is nothing left and that will be 0. So I get the equation x square minus 8x minus 180 equals to 0. I have used the method of splitting the middle term, that is the factorization method. So product is minus 180, sum is minus 8. So my two numbers are minus 18 and plus 10. So when I apply these two, x square minus 18x plus 10x minus 180 equals to 0, and the factors I will get x minus 18 and x plus 10 equals to 0. Now putting individually these two factors equal to 0, I get the roots of the given equation as 18 and minus 10. Now if you see, if I take x equals to minus 10, if I see I have got the value of x, one of the number I have got. Now I have to find the value of y also. So what I will do, I will substitute the value of x in one of these given conditions. See, this is more easier to simplify because there are two things only. Just substitute the value of x and we can find the value of y, right? So what I do, I substitute the value of x as minus 10 in this. So this will be y square equals to minus 80. See, y square equals to minus 80, y will be equal to under root of minus 80. It means I will not be getting the real value of the x, the real value of the y. So what I will do, I have to reject x equals to minus 10. So I will take the value of x as 18, right? So when I take the value of x as 18, I get y square equals to 8 into 18, that is y square is 144. And we know that the square root of 144 can be positive also and negative also. So I get two values, y equal to plus minus 12, right? So I will have two pairs of roots, one is 18 and 12 and one is 18 and minus 12, right? So this is the end of this question. We go to the next question now. In the next question, I'm not done the 8th question, but I have taken the 9th question. Now, in the 9th question, why I have not done the 8th question? Because the question number 8 and question number 10 are almost similar. So I will be doing 10th question for you, right? So let's take the 9th question. What is given? There are two water taps which are filling a tank, right? Now it's given when the taps are open together, the total time taken by them to fill the tank is 9 hours and 3 by 8. That is 9 3 by 8 hours. That is the total time. Now it is also given the condition, the relation also given that there are the two taps. One is with smaller diameter, one is with the larger diameter, and the time taken by the tap with the larger diameter is 10 hours less if they fill the tank individually. It means if only one tap is open, suppose a tap of smaller diameter is open to fill the tank, suppose it takes 40 hours, then the tap of larger diameter, if it fills alone, it will take 10 hours less. It means it will take 30 hours. So what I have supposed, initial stage, let the volume of tank is equal to V. This is a question of time and work. Time and work questions are a little bit typical questions. So you have to be very careful when you are doing this question. You should write complete statements also, right? So let the time taken by smaller diameter tap is equal to x hours. So we suppose that the tap with the smaller diameter takes x hours. So obviously the time taken by larger diameter tap, the tap with the larger diameter, it is given as 10 hours less. So it will be x minus 10 hours. Now what we do in the case of time and work question, we always find the work for 1 hour, 1 unit, right? So here we find the work done by them in 1 hour. So 1 hour work of smaller diameter tap is obviously, see, it takes x hours to fill V volume. X hours to fill V volume. So in how much will it fill in 1 hour? So in 1 hour it will fill V by X. So I take one more example. Suppose the volume of tank is say 100 meter cube and the time taken by tap is 10 hours. So in 1 hour how much it will fill? 100 by 10. That is the volume of the tank upon the time. So that will be 10. So same thing I have done here also. So 1 hour work of the smaller diameter tap equals to the volume of the tank upon the time it takes to fill the tank if it is open individually. So V by X. Same way, the 1 hour work of the tap of the larger diameter would be V upon X minus 10. Now, this is the 1 hour work of the tap of the smaller diameter, and this is the 1 hour work of the tap of the larger diameter. It means if they are combined together, if they open together, it means the combined work would be the sum of these two, right? So 1 hour combined work is V by X plus V upon X minus 10. Now, how to simplify? Obviously, we take the LCM, but before that, we take V as common. So V common, inside the bracket, we have 1 upon X plus 1 upon X minus 10. And when we simplify by taking the LCM, we get this thing, V into 2X minus 10 upon X square minus 10X, right? Now, also what is given to us? Also, time taken by both taps to fill the tank equals to 9 3 by 8 hours. And when you convert it into the improper fraction, this is mixed fraction, you have to convert into improper fraction, you get 75 by 8 hours. Now again, if I calculate what is the 1 hour work from here, 1 hour combined work, that is again I have to divide the volume by the time. So I write V divided by 75 by 8. So when there is a division sign, when you convert into multiplication, there is a reciprocal of the number. So this is V into 8 by 75, that is equal to 8V by 75. Now you see, this is also 1 hour combined work and this is also 1 hour combined work. It means if we equate these two equal, we'll get the desired equation. So let's do it. So now what we have, I write this thing, 8V by 1 and 2, 8V upon 75 equals to V into 2X minus 10 upon X squared minus 10X. So this V cancels on both the sides, then we cross multiply, this X squared minus 10X will be multiplied with the 8 and the 75 will be multiplied with 2X minus 10. So when I multiply, so what I get, 8X square minus 80X equals to, this is 150X minus 750. Then I shift both the terms from the right side towards the left side, and when I shift there is nothing left, and when there is nothing we write the 0 in that case. So shifting See, do it very carefully, because students usually make this mistake. They do not change the sign and they forget to write equals to 0 also. In that case, it doesn't make sense. It is an equation or a polynomial. So that is only the way we can distinguish between a polynomial and an equation. In equation, there is always some equal to 0. We have to write that thing. So this is minus 150x. Right? Now we simplify. This is 8x square minus 230x plus 750 equals to 0. 2 is common. Lower term, standard form. This is 4x square minus 115x plus 375 equals to 0. So now it's your choice. You can do it by any of the method. You can factorize if you can find the factors, or you can also apply the quadratic formula. So what I am doing, I am just applying, splitting the middle term. The product is 1500 and the sum is 115. Minus 115, I get the two numbers 115. So I write it as 4x square minus 100x minus 15x plus 375 equals to 0. So 4x is common, x minus 25, and minus 15 is common, x minus 25 equals to 0. So now what we have, this is 4x minus 15 into x minus 25. So I get the values of x as 15 by 4 and x equals to 25. So these are the two values which I get. Now if I take x equals to 15 by 4, see, it's a time and work question. So anything which is coming negative, we have to reject, right? So here both the values are positive, so they are valid, but let's find the other value also, because we have to find the time of both the tabs. So if x equals to 15 by 4, then what we get? Then we get that x minus 10 is negative. Therefore, we reject x equals to 15 by 4. We reject this value, and therefore we are left with, therefore, time taken by tap of smaller diameter is equal to 25 hours, and time taken by tap of larger diameter, that is 10 hours less, so 25 minus 10 equal to 15 hours. See, there can be more types of these questions. Actually, in this question, what we have, both the taps are filling the tank. So that is why we are adding them. It could be there is one tap filling the tank and the other is emptying the tank. In that case, when we find the combined work, we have to subtract. In that case, it could be two taps filling and one tap emptying the tank also. In that case also, when we find the combined work, then we have to subtract the work done of the tap which is basically emptying the tank, right? Let's go to the next question now. The next question is basically of time and distance. Now it's given that there are two trains. An express train takes 1 hour less than the passenger train to travel 132 km between Mysore and Bangalore, and we have to find basically the average speed of the two trains. What is given to us? It's given that the relation between the speed is given to us. Now what we suppose, this is our question number 10. So question number 10 and question number 8 both are almost same, because both are related with the speed and time question also. So the method is same. So I am doing this question. Let the average speed. So the two trains which are given to us, one of the train is express and the other one is passenger train, right? So I suppose let the speed of passenger train is equal to x hours. Now obviously it is given that the speed of the express, it will be more, so and the difference is given of 11 hours. So speed of express train is equal to x plus 11 hours. Now both are covering the same distance between the two stations. Both are covering the same distance between the two stations. The stations are Mysore and Bangalore, and the distance is given as 132 kilometer. Now the distance is equal to 132 kilometers. Now time taken by express train, let's write for the passenger train first. Is 132 upon x, that is time distance upon speed. The small mistake here. The speed would be in kilometer per hour. So this is hours, and the time taken by express train is equal to 132 upon x plus 11. Now you should be able to judge this thing, that which train will take more time. Obviously, the train which is moving slower, it's a passenger train which is moving slower, so its time will be less than the express train. So when we are subtracting, make sure we are subtracting the smaller from the larger. So it means what I have to do, so according to question, I write 132 upon x minus 132 upon x plus 11. Now what is the difference of time given to us? The difference of the time is given as 1 hour. Right? So now what? We just take the LCM, x into x plus 11. This is 132 into x plus 11 minus 132x equals to 1. Open the brackets. This is 132 x plus, this would be 2541 minus 132x upon x square plus 11x equals to 1. Now this cancels, so cross multiply, I get 1452 equals to x square plus 11x, or we shift 1452 on the right side, we get 0 equals to x square plus 11x minus 1452. Or we can write this equation in the form of this way also. 11x minus 1452 equals to 0. Again, you can do this question by using the quadratic formula also, because you will not be able to form the spreading of middle term. It will not be easy for you to find the two numbers whose product is 1452 and sum is 11. But I will be doing by using the spreading the middle term. So x square plus 44x minus 33x minus 1452 equals to 0. So this is x into x plus 44 minus 33 into x plus 44 equals to 0, right? So now x minus 33 into x plus 44 equals to 0. Again I get two values, 33 comma minus 44. Since the speed cannot be negative, so we'll be rejecting the negative value. So I write rejecting x equals to minus 44. Therefore, speed of passenger train is equal to 33 km per hour, and the speed of express train is equal to, this is 33 plus 11, we get it as 44 km/h. So right, dear students, this is the way you can do the 8th question also. Both are similar, time and distance questions only, right? Let's proceed to the last question of this exercise now. Now, in the last question is given, sum of areas of two squares is 468 meters square. It means there are two squares whose sum of areas, we have the areas, the sum of the areas is 468 meters square, and the difference of their perimeters is given as 24 meter. So let's write the condition which is given to us. Now, sum of areas of two squares is equal to 468 meters square, and the difference of perimeters is given to us 24 meters. Now, what we can do, we can suppose we have to find the side of both the square. So we can suppose one of the square having x, it could be the smaller one also, it could be the larger one also. So we suppose let the side of smaller square equal to x meter. So therefore, perimeter of smaller square would be, what is the perimeter of the square? It's 4 into side. So here the side is x, so we have 4x meters. Now, this is the perimeter of the smaller square. This difference of the perimeters is given as 24 meters. See, if the smaller square has the perimeter, suppose as you can suppose it to be 36, right? And reference is 24. It means the larger one would be having 36 plus 24, that is 60. So in this means perimeter of larger square will be 4x plus 24 meters. So now we have the difference of 24 meters. From here we can find the side of. So therefore, side of larger square. See, if the perimeter is given, perimeter of square is given, we have to find the side. We divide the perimeter by 4. So we divide this thing by 4. This is 4x. I take 4 common here. This is 4 into x plus 6. This thing, and then divide by 4. So I get the side of the larger square as x plus 6 meters. So now I have the side of both the squares. Now what I have to do? I have to just put these two values, these two things in the first condition, that is the sum of the areas of the two square was given as 468 meters square. So I just substitute the value. Now, sum of area. Now the area of square is side square. So the first one x square plus, then this is x plus 6 whole square, and this is equal to 468. Now we simplify this thing. This is x square plus, I open the bracket using the formula of a plus b whole square identity. Now what I have, this is 2x square plus 12x. I shift 468 on the left side and nothing is left on the right, so it means it is 0. Now what is next? We simplify this thing. This is 2x square plus 12x minus 432 equals to 0. Now we can take 2 as common in this. So what I am left with is x square plus 6x minus 216 equals to 0. Now again, splitting the middle term is again easy. If you don't find it easy, you just apply the quadratic formula and find the roots of the equation, right? But here I am just doing it correctly again. So when I split the middle term, I will get two values. I will be getting x plus 18 and x minus 12 equals to 0. So 18 and minus 12 will be the two numbers. Splitting the middle term, you can apply and just simplify it out. I'm just writing the direct answer. So therefore, x equals to minus 18 and 12. Now again, it's a question of sides of the square, and the side of the square cannot be negative. So it means I have to reject one of the value. So rejecting x equals to minus 18. Therefore, side of smaller square is equal to 12 meter, and the side of larger square equals to, so the larger square had the side x plus 6, so this is 12 plus 6 equals to 18 meters. So this is it, my dear friends. This is it from my side. The exercise is complete. I hope you have understood everything. If not, then try to watch the video again. Make sure to like my video and subscribe to my channel. This is your host signing off, guys. Goodbye and take care.